Hi, this is JP Morgan. Today on the Slanted Lens, I'm going to do something just a little bit different. I'm going to go through all the cases that I took on my shoot that we did in Fiji. We shot in Fiji for 9 days. I'm doing all the camera work, Julene's doing the sound, and between the two of us, we're hauling the equipment. We took 6 bags. We carried 2 on, and we checked 4 on the airplane. So let's take a look at what was in each bag and just how we got all the equipment we need to do our project there. Camera bag. I have flown with this bag all over the world, quite frankly. It goes on the airplane with me every time. I don't check it. It weighs way too much. I know it does. It was almost 46 pounds. But generally speaking, as long as I'm the one wrestling around, no one bothers me about it. This is a think tank photo bag, and so it's the largest bag that they make that will go on the overhead in an airplane. Let's take a look at what's in the first bag. The very first thing I have on top is something I keep with the camera bag. As I go through customs in each country, I have something to refer to. This is called a certificate of registration. You get it from the Homeland Security Department at the airport. You basically make a complete list of everything that you're carrying and serial numbers. So every camera, every lens, every tiny item that you have goes on this list. You go into the office, usually the customs office has an officer there, look at your equipment, stamp it so it has this little approval, and then you carry this with your equipment. Now this is not as good as a carnet. A carnet basically is a passport for your equipment, but it's very expensive to get, and some countries will recognize them and others will not. Fiji did not recognize a carnet, so we just simply got a manifest or a what's called a certificate of registration from Homeland Security. I have model releases, I have property releases, and of course I've got a label, a FedEx label, so if I need to FedEx something, I can quickly stick it on a box and ship it out. I love having these pre-printed labels with my account number on it. First off, I've got a strap in order to put a camera over my shoulder if I need it. I use my spider holster. Julene wore this a lot because when she's doing sound, she'd keep a camera on her hip. I have 4 cameras in here. Right now, 3 of them are filming me. So I have 2 Mark IIIs, 1, 2. I have a Mark II. With those, I've got my Tamron 24 to 70 millimeter lens. I carry 4 camera battery chargers with a battery on every charger. So then I know I have a battery in each camera, I have a battery on each charger. I know that I have 8 batteries, and so when I go to leave the location, if I find a charger and I don't have a battery, I know I'm missing a battery. This is really my go-to lens for that 7D. It's a 17 to 50 millimeter lens, gives you a great range. It works for that sensor size on the 7D. There's a Tamron 17 to 50 millimeter lens. What would be in this compartment, if I wasn't using it overhead right now, is the 16 to 35 millimeter Canon lens. I also have the 90 millimeter macro lens by Tamron. I love this lens because I can get close-up shots of people's fingers, of really instruments. I use this a lot in Fiji, actually. What I would have in this in here is my 200 millimeter lens. It's a 70 to 200 millimeter Canon lens, and I keep in here my 70 to 200 millimeter Tamron lenses. I carry both of these. Sometimes doing interviews, I'll use both of them, one tight and one a little broader. I carry grease pencils because I like to make marks on things. I carry a chronometer, whatever an achrometer is, or however you're supposed to say it, so I can do time lapse. I carry 2 pair of old person glasses because I'm an old person. And then I'm not that old. I have this as a card reader, carry a card reader. I can't go anywhere without a headlamp because usually I'm going to start early in the morning and it's before the sun comes up. I got to see stuff in the bag, or we're packing up late at night after the sun has gone down. So I always carry at least 1 headlamp in the camera bag. I carry 2 pocket wizards. I love this. I carry a Sharpie with tape rolled on it. A little bit of gaff tape so that I can pull that little pieces off to do whatever I need with it. It saved my butt many times. In this is where my 7D goes, so this usually just goes on the side of the 7D, but I carry 2 card cases for the compact flash. They have to be full. I want to know that I have a card in every slot, so I have 4 cards in camera, and then I got 8 cards in the containers. So everything's got to be equal numbers and a place for it to go. So when I pack this at the end of the day, I can really quickly tell that everything is here. I always carry my Zacuto loop, which I love on the back of my camera when I'm shooting video. Right in this whole pile here are rings for lenses when I'm using my Red Rock Micro focusing. That's the Captain Stubling rig. Up in here I have 2 polarizers, a 1-stop ND and a 2-stop ND, and then I have a whole slew of camera plates. Spider holster, I have put Manfrotto plates on everything. Every tripod has Manfrotto plate on it. I just need to be able to pull things on and off really fast. The one thing I forgot to say, which you really have to remember, is I carry at least 8 or 10 of these. It's a little insert that takes you from 1/4 to 5/8 inch screw mount. I have a handful of these so I can put them on the tripods, I can put them on things. I always want at least 6 or 8 of them in my bag. So take one of these, man. Take 10 of them. You can't have enough of them. So bag number 2, lighting. So I take 2 of these ICANN LEDs, the big panels. I carry 3 batteries. I try to work out mostly on batteries and not have to AC power. I carry a charger and the brackets to put them up on a stand. Bag number 3, miscellaneous movement gear and just bits and pieces. First off, I pack everything into a small bag that's sound. In here, we carry with us several things. We're going to carry our Sennheiser shotgun mic, a bracket to put this on the boom pole. This is a little something we put together. It's just a single bracket. It has a place to put 2 of the lav mic receivers, and it also has a place to put the 2 Zoom recorders. You'll see this in the BTS footage. So it really becomes a setup on a stand where I've got 2 Zoom recorders and I've got 2 of the receivers from the lav mics, and I can run all that from one place. Now inside, I've got 2 Zoom recorders, 2 of everything, man. It scares me to death. I've got a bracket to put this onto a stand so you can adjust it to be able to work with it. Then of course I've got the mic cords. I've got the miscellaneous input cords, the XLR cords. Then I have 2 Sennheiser lav setups, a transmitter and a receiver. In the front, I put the big XLR cables that we're going to run these back with the boom, and some SD cards. I've got extra batteries, and I wasn't sure how we were going to get these, and it was lucky that I brought plenty of batteries because we flew into Fiji, main city, took another flight to a smaller city, then took a 2.5-hour truck ride to a village out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. There was no place to buy batteries there at all. So we took extra batteries. I love this setup when I travel. This is a bogan clamp on a small arm with a ball head on it. And I can hook this anywhere and everywhere. Right now I've got one hooked up overhead that's videoing what we're doing right here. So that is a great little setup. Handle and fluid head. I keep a small Triton strobe setup in here. So I've got the battery pack, the strobe head, the reflector. I cut the reflector down with a hacksaw so it's not so deep, so it will go in this case a little easier. So I cut about that much off from it. I bring an adapter to put a small octadome on the Triton strobe, and then all of the battery chargers and cables to be able to hook that system up together. That's the only strobe lighting I take. One head, small battery pack, charger, everything I need to be able to just do some simple strobe things. 3 last things. This is a bracket, goes on a C-stand knuckle that you can put the boom pole on so you don't have to hold the boom all day. Now I have my slider. I love this little stealth slider by Kessler. It's just small enough I can put it on the tripod. I really do a setup where I have a tripod, the stealth slider, and then a video head on top of that. This is a beautiful piece of equipment. I love the fact that it fits in this case. C47s, clothespins, a Leatherman, which gives me a little bit of tools if I need to fix or repair something, which happened a couple of times on our trip. I brought several adapters that will adapt my equipment from Edison in the United States to their electrical system there. So this was really valuable to have. I had a whole bag of those at one time in here. Last thing that's in here, you can see from overhead, in this little compartment, I've kind of hid a jib arm. This is Kessler's new jib arm, which is absolutely a dream. This gives you a great movement. It's just a beautiful little piece of equipment. It'll set up in a few minutes, hooks on your tripod, it gives you great movement for the things you're doing. It would take me a whole nother case to carry the medium-sized crane or a large crane. Case number 3. I carry 2 heavy-duty Vanguard tripods. I carry a white shoot-through umbrella because I can use that with my strobes, or if I need to, I can bounce a little light through it. Told you I love Ziploc bags. I carry extra gallon and quart freezer-sized Ziploc bags, so they're heavy-duty, so I can put things in them. Complete roll of gels in here. So I've got in here CTO, CTB, diffusion, just about everything I need. I carry 3 medium weight stands made by Photoflex, and I carry this really lightweight stand made by Dynalite. I love these actually. Sometimes I'll put a couple of these in if I have the weight. I put in several of these sandbags. They're made by Photoflex. You put water bottles in them, or you can put sand in them. On location, they've got zippers. These are great to have to give yourself a sandbag so you don't have to carry the weight with you. I have my light panel, 39 by 39 light panel. I'll carry with me the translucent cover and the hard white and the silver gold cover. With that, I use the light. I take a light reach pole. This gives me the ability to get this up in the air if I want to knock the light off from someone's face. I bring a pair of pliers. I know I have it with my Leatherman, but just something a little more heavy duty. A couple of A-clamps, a set of a hex set, and then I always carry just a little bit of rope. I do a million things with it. On this trip, we hung it outside so we could dry our clothes. The fifth bag is my personal suitcase. In with my clothes, I pack 2 extension cords. I pack a power strip. I have the Vanguard GH300T pistol grip. I love this little grip, so I carry this in my case, and I carry a lightweight Vanguard tripod that goes with it. So these 2 go in my personal case, and then I carry my Glidecam. If you don't do a lot of this, it makes it really hard to do a whole lot of this all day long. Trust me on that. So there's cases 1 through 5. The 5th being my personal luggage that I put equipment in. Then the 6th is Julene's carry-on that she puts her clothing in. So the only other bag we take is our laptop bag. In this case, I have several things. I have my iPad because I just like to watch movies wherever I'm at, and I knew in Fiji they wouldn't have any. I've got all my connector cables in order to hook my laptop up to HDMI, to a television. I carry my MacBook Pro, and then I carry, probably the most important thing I carry in here is I carry the rugged, lacy rugged drives. They're 1 terabyte drives. I carry 2 of them. Every night when I go back to the hotel or the room that we're staying at, I download all the cards that we shot that day until they're all on one of these drives. And then when I go to sleep, I daisy chain the second one of these drives to this one, and I take the entire day's shoot and I move to the second drive, so by the time I wake up in the morning, I have everything backed up in 2 places. So when we're traveling, this now becomes more valuable than everything we're carrying. The entire shoot is sitting on this drive. So we don't put both of them in my bag in case I leave my laptop bag somewhere or someone steals it. I put one in this bag, and Julene puts one in her carry-on bag, so it's always with her. That way we have it backed up in 2 different places as we travel. Headphones, business cards, and a model railroader magazine because I am a nerd. Whether I am going to Dallas or I'm going to Fiji, this is how I travel. There are a couple things you can know that will make this a little easier for you though. When you go to book your flight, most airlines have a media rate. Make yourself an ID badge. It has your picture on it, has the company name. With that media badge, you can go and you can get a media rate for your equipment. That doesn't give you a cheaper rate for your equipment, but it makes it so it can go overweight and they don't have a problem. That's something important to know. I think you can go to 90 pounds on a lot of airlines with a media rate. It really helps you to fly a lot heavier without having to have as many cases. Also, get the manifest. Don't avoid that step. Type out your equipment, go into customs, get them to stamp the manifest. When you can do something like you fly into LA, take all your equipment over to customs, it took me literally in LA about 6.5 minutes to get that stamped. The guy said, "Show me one of your cameras." I showed him a camera. He looked at the serial number, said, "Great. Just take a look at the equipment. This is how I travel. It's got everything I need to move the camera, to get great interview setups." It's funny because Julene and I are working. Julene's doing sound. I'm on camera. And so I just handed the camera to whatever dude was standing there. Usually it was our driver. I'm going, "Shoot some footage of us." So I try to focus it, pre-focus it for him. So if the BTS footage on this looks a little shaky, it's because I just handed it to some dude and said, "Here, shoot some footage for me." Let me tell you what made this trip important for me, and I'll just share this last thought with you. I love this trip because I flew into a main city. Julene and I flew into a smaller city, and then we drove to a tiny little village where you have to have permission from the chief to even go into the village and to talk to anybody. We were in homes. We videotaped people in very humble circumstances. All these individuals, we were there for the Beeve Foundation, who were doing surgeries for people who are getting cataract surgeries. We saw people going from being absolutely blind to being miraculously able to see when they walked out of that surgery. It was a great experience for us. We loved being there. We felt like we saw Fiji. We saw the people, we saw them in their homes. We flew back to a 5-star resort on the last night, and we're looking around at everyone after we've been 9 days out in the bush going, who are these people? They think they went to Fiji. They don't have any idea what Fiji's like. It's a really humble, happy people. You might check out the Beeve Foundation. It's really a worthy organization, people that are doing great good in the world. And we're happy to be a support and a sponsor of them. Travel with your equipment. If you have questions, I know there'll be 1,000 of them. Post them, I'll try to get back to you. So get that equipment packed, make your own list, and then get out there and keep those cameras rolling. Keep on clicking.